You ever gotten your toe sucked?
No, I haven't. Great way to start off an episode. No, God, no.
I
My feet
thought
are gross.
Typically you start us off on these cold openings, and I thought you were going to ask me that, and I was prepped for it.
Oh,
But
shit.
I'm happy that I was able to turn the tables.
Well, have you ever had your toe sucked? Yeah.
Doesn't appeal to me.
Me neither. I don't get it.
I don't think Jesse's ever had his toe sucked either.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on it.
Well, he has now.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Gimme Goots. What's up, dude?
It was going to be opening day, Goots.
It should have been opening day, Goots. Yeah,
Baseball
sorry.
season is upon us. That means spring.
Spring is officially here.
It's sprung.
Yeah, spring hath sprung. That's what I based on, not the 21st or the spring
Free
equinox. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, I don't base it on that either. Although we are in the season of waking up, it's sunny outside. I expect it to be warm, and it's 36 degrees.
Today was cold. Today was really
Sucked.
cold. I went to the gym, and I was like, I walked out without a sweatshirt. I was like, nah, nope.
Nope. Yeah.
Right back in.
Can't do it.
No, I need to be toasty. And the weird thing is, as I get older,
You're colder.
yes.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. You put the older in colder.
I put the older and colder. You're damn right. That's actually kind of funny. Well done. Well done
How
there.
about that?
But it's also hard to watch a show about summer when you're cold because I just want to be by the pool hanging out. But this was an interesting episode.
Weird episode.
I felt kind of weird watching it.
I felt very weird watching it. I don't know how to feel. I've got a lot of thoughts.
I have plenty of thoughts.
Plenty of thoughts. We can let our imaginations run towards the end of this episode.
Sure.
Which I am really excited for. There's also a few things that happened in this episode that I didn't quite expect. And I think we're going down, and look, this is way better than going down a bad path
Definitely.
for Summer House. We're going down a very weird path
Mhm.
for Summer House, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
It was almost like watching an ayahuasca trip.
Okay.
You know, not that I've ever
Alright.
been one, but just watching this party was like, I don't know if they spiked the drinks or if they were just drunker than we've seen them in a while.
I liked the party a lot, and I think they were a lot drunker.
Maybe that's what it was.
And I think the telltale sign was West saying, "You guys are playing flip cup with vodka?
Oh, with hard alcohol?
Fuck.
Oh,
All right, I guess I'm in." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a bad call right there.
twist my arm.
I don't want to be. I don't want to play flip cup or beer pong with hard liquor. I don't want to be around that either, because the people that do that will turn into messes that then later will annoy me.
Yes.
I'm not going to clean up the mess, but I'm going to be really annoyed at
You
it.
could have a bonus cup, like if, one shot.
Sure, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
And then, if
Ugh.
it's exactly because you played
No,
with it before.
that brought back a memory of a
Fire Island.
not Fire Island, but like there is a word for it, and I can't remember what it is. It's like the fucked cup or something.
Oh,
that everybody
yeah.
just dumps their own shit into,
Yep.
and then you have to drink. Oh,
Oh,
no,
man.
no.
That doesn't sound fun.
Too old for that.
Stupid. That was dumb. But you know what? Let's jump into this episode. First things first.
Yeah.
Go Phils.
Go, Phils.
Go Phils. And congratulations to my brother and sister-in-law. They just had a beautiful baby girl. I went to see her today. She's gorgeous. Nice job, Mom. Way to go, Dad. Everyone rest up. You can do that stupid trope people do. Get your sleep now. I hate that one.
God, dude.
I don't like that one. You know what?
No.
There's a thing going around, and now that you know what, I will take a second
All right, take a
because we
second.
have not a huge platform, but we have a platform
Okay,
of which
go
I
for
can
it.
speak on. I don't know what it is, especially with parents from our generation.
Uh-huh.
Why do we have to fearmonger to expecting parents? It's crazy. Like every time I've heard conversations with like people about to be parents with current parents that have like a toddler or something, they're like, oh, just you wait. They say all these horrible tropes where it's like, sleep now because you're never going to sleep again. They make it sound awful. They make parenting sound awful. And that is not what it is. You are tired, yes, but it is a fun tired, like most of the time. Sometimes it's not fun tired, but I don't understand why we have to scare parents right before they have a baby when there's so much fun shit you could talk about. Talk about the good things. Don't be like, oh boy. Like, that's not fun. Like, they're in the hospital right now. They're in the hospital right now, and nurses come and go, ooh, wait for the second
The
night.
nurses are doing it?
Yeah, they're like, wait for night
That's an
two.
epidemic.
It's fucking weird. And like, for them, Their baby was mellow all day, and there's like the 24-hour birthday nap. Like when they're born, they just rest because obviously they just went through a whole lot.
Okay.
So they sleep a lot. But if they're like, oh my God, she's so mellow, it's so nice, don't crush their hopes and dreams of being like, that's just because it's not night 2 yet. It's like, why? What does that do? I don't get it. Sorry. But that's bothered me for a while.
I don't know what to say. I'm not a parent, so I.
No, I
don't-
know.
Yeah.
But like,
None of this applies to me.
there's just this thing with let's talk about how hard and how difficult it is right before new parents have their kid. And I don't get it. I do not get it. So let's stop doing that, everybody. Anyway.
Yeah, knock it off.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know where that came up. Oh, because I said congratulations, Chris and Laura. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm glad we got back here. So now let's talk about Summer House. We all good?
Do it. Everybody's good. I think
Everyone's
everybody's
cool
good.
now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We start out with what I thought was going to be Craig and Kyle right out of the gate because it makes it seem that way because
Sure does.
Kyle goes up to the boat and says, hey, man, now a good time? Can we shoot the shit
He doesn't
real
even
quick?
say now a good time. He
No.
just goes, "Can I switch places with you?"
Yeah. I was paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, sure. And he says you got to go to the bathroom. You got to go take a little pee-pee real quick. I'll be right back.
But he said he was getting another drink.
I
Both
heard-
were true, by the way. He did both of
He
those
did
things.
both amongst other
Amongst
things.
other things. Yeah.
But yeah, so he bounces, but there is something important to note before Kyle gets there. When Paige and Craig are still talking, she clarifies in a confession. It's like, you can pick anywhere on that list and just
That's
come
what we
visit.
said last week.
Yeah.
That he should have done, and it would have made a lot of sense. You feel neglected. I don't think that in a healthy relationship, your girlfriend is stopping you from coming to visit.
Correct.
This isn't yeah, I'm just going to tag along for the whole tour. You're not going to do that. We all know you're not going to do that. But you can go to the different tour stops and have a fun time with your girlfriend and then go home.
I agree.
That is a good way to make sure that you're feeling appreciated. You can make her feel appreciated while she's working. I'm sure she would like a little break here and there.
Sure.
Tours are grueling. Go do that. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So I don't understand why he's saying it's either one or the other. Like, you need to check in on me. Like, go visit your girlfriend. You have all the money in the world at this point. You don't really have a schedule
No.
to exist.
You
can
bop back and
call.
forth from New York all the
You
time.
can check, yeah, you bop back and forth from New York. You can check your laptop. You can make calls on the road. You're not going to be gone for an extended period of time. You go away for like a week and go on the tour with them for a bit, hang out, have some fun, go home.
But that also, to build on what you said, implies you're not insecure about your relationship. Because if he wasn't, he would say, yeah, you know what? This looks like a fun weekend. You're going to be in, Charlotte. Oh, here's a cool
It's
weekend.
also like you guys don't live together either.
No, so where's the separation anxiety
I don't
coming
get it.
from?
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, it's because he continues to try to further the relationship and get some kind of reassurance that they are still on
Yeah, do
this
you think-
trajectory. And
Do you
she
think he
doesn't give
views it like she's running away?
Yeah.
Like, we're already on a long distance relationship. We're already trying to handle all of these hurdles. I'm trying to break us closer,
And you're going
and
away.
you're going away.
Yeah.
It's like she's doing her
Her
job.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I think when you put all that together, that's where the
I
insecurity
think that's
comes
probably where
from.
it is.
But
Yeah.
anyway, we're not going to talk about Craig and Kyle yet because, like I said, Craig's off gallivanting around the house. But we do see Jesse flirting a little bit. But he does say immediately, I do have a girlfriend. I'm just talking. He
Mhm.
says that to the ladies. But while he's talking to those ladies, we get to see Carl working his magic.
Yeah. Magic?
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about magic.
Uh-huh.
She's like, I think magic is sick and I really want to learn it. I want to go to magic school or something. And Carl's like, yeah, totally. She's like, that's why I always keep these things on me. And she pulls out a deck of cards,
Mm-hmm.
but does not know how to do magic.
Yeah.
That's strange.
I mean, I've got a magic trick that Carl can try.
What?
Hide the salami.
Oh, God.
Well, he hasn't had sex in 2 years. Come on. Or 3 years. I don't know how the fuck long it's been. Either way, this is just him talking. Like, it didn't really, I can't tell if there's chemistry because of how awkward it is.
But they're both giving awkward.
They're
so
both giving awkward, so that kind of works.
It weirdly
way.
works. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, that is the kind of person that I would see Carl with.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
And I like that it's almost as if she knows what she's doing, and she might, and I'm not going to accuse her of knowing what she's doing.
No.
But the very over-the-top support of Carl's business, it's like, ooh.
Did you watch
You
the
doing
show?
the opposite of what Lindsay did last year?
You see what Lindsay did last
Yeah,
year?
giving him a little confessional to talk about how nice it is to be supported.
It's like, it's the greatest idea I've ever heard in my
Yeah.
entire life. Then Carl's like, God, it's nice to feel supported.
And like, I don't deny that. I'm sure
No,
it
I'm
is
sure
really
it
nice
feels
because
great.
he's going out on a limb to go do this. He's taking a risk. So if there's a girl there, and yeah, she might just be saying all the right things, just be flirtatious, fine, whatever. But take it for what it is. She's supporting you.
That's nice.
Good for you,
Feels
Carl.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it all in, pal. But we get a lot of weird conversations. Like we said, this is a weird episode. There's a lot of weird tensions in the house, whether it's sexual or just straight up tension.
There's a lot of weird conversations throughout the party that I was worried they didn't have enough cameras and enough audio.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of conversations actually happening at the exact same time, which is different than we usually see, where we're like, oh, you guys are just splicing this together and doing this and that and whatever. There were different groups of people having conversations about either Kyle and Craig sitting in the middle of the pool, or Jesse and Ciara over here talking. Like, there were a bunch of different conversations about other people going on at the same time. I'm like, this is great.
It's awesome.
It's hard to keep track of.
Let's make
I'm
sure.
it's really sucked for you.
Yeah, this was a disaster to try to write notes on.
Why don't we individualize them?
I'm trying. We'll lump together what we can, but there's just things everywhere. But anyway, Jesse and Ciara are talking. And Jesse's goal was to smooth things over with West, and so that he could hang out with both of his friends again. And he's talking to her. He's like, I'm just still picking up a neggy energy from you. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What does West have to do to move on? Is the question he poses. She's like, look, we're coexisting and it's fine. But if you think that we're going to be cool after he used me last year, like, this is all he's going to get, more or less. Like, this is kind of the limit of what I'm willing to put forward with West.
Yep.
Which, in my head, I'm like, that's a boundary. She set the boundary. If she's going to stand by that, that's her prerogative. I'm not going to be like, don't do that.
Fully fine. I have no issues with this at all. I think this is something that Ciara's feelings are valid.
Sure.
And I think it's a matter of Jesse and West want it to be over with. They
Yes.
want things to go back to normal. And unfortunately for them, it's not their call.
No.
It's not their call at all. And for the most part, West did use Ciara last year. I know he doesn't like the word. I know he doesn't like the terminology, but you did.
Yeah.
That is exactly what you did. You used her all last summer, not for a storyline because you don't know how that works, but you used her to have somebody, to have a romantic interest, to be able to go back and hang out with, because you weren't, maybe you weren't confident in going out because you were going out with somebody like Jesse or whatever it may have been. You thought that you had something going, but you never actually intended on getting romantic, taking it to the next level. So yeah, you used her.
You did. And maybe that's his disconnect, is
Not
he's
understanding
thinking
that.
used means this, and it's
Yeah.
actually a much more broad term in this. So that's actually an interesting point. But let's get to another weird conversation, because Craig and Kyle are sitting in a boat, and about 20 minutes later, Craig strolls out of the house.
Yep.
And throughout his time in the house, we kept getting like flashes of him, like what he was doing. He was eating chips. He was checking his laptop.
Yep.
He was going over correspondence. He did pee. He did get a drink, but he did all this. And this goes to prove my point from last week, where I was like, you thought that Kyle was trying to, posture and control the conversation. I said it was Craig. This proves that it was Craig.
It was Craig, yeah.
He's
He
literally
was showing zero interest in this. He realized, I'm on my own timeline, not your timeline.
Yes.
I'm going to leave you here sitting in the boat. I think he was probably a little surprised when he came back down that Kyle was still sitting there.
That's actually a good point.
And maybe he thought again, because I did think that like both can be true, where, the way Kyle was, and maybe he wasn't, because I feel a little differently about Kyle in this conversation.
Interesting.
But the way that Craig handled it, I still thought from last week and again this week, he's just trying to postpone.
That's
He's
what it feels
just
like.
trying to not have the conversation ever, so that he can continue to complain about it. Because he wants not the sympathy, but he wants to be the guy that was wronged. He wants to be the guy that is all up in arms about this. And again, you had more opportunities to say, don't handle it like this. Don't text my girlfriend.
That's it.
Don't blast her for this. And again, he was making it all about himself. So again, last week I was very neutral. I'm like, you guys both kind of suck. Now this week, I'm like, Kyle's making a lot of good points without being an asshole.
That's what I recognized last week, and I think that you got there. That's the important thing.
Well, I think he was way more of an asshole last week. He was way more Kyle.
He was much more brash last week.
This week, it actually genuinely felt like he just wanted to stop it and not get his point across, and then eventually stop it.
Yeah, I agree. But while they're sitting there, Jesse, he says something really interesting. I guess Craig had talked to him previously and was like, Craig told me even if he apologizes, it's not good enough. He's got to change his entire mindset. It's like, well, then you're never going to get to the end of this.
Yep.
That's a
I
crazy
would have loved to
stipulation.
have seen that conversation.
Me
by the way.
too. Like change your whole. You got to change the
I know
way
we've
you
been
look at
complaining
things.
a lot about like the snippets that we get when it's a relevant conversation.
Sure.
But I would like to see the three guys sitting down talking about this because it's the most open that Craig's been. When you see him with Paige, he is posturing. He is talking about all of these things. Again, not talking about how Kyle texted Paige, but that's a different issue. But sitting with the guys, it seemed like he was more open about his actual feelings towards the matter.
Yeah, yeah. And, we find out as well that Craig has pulled Loverboy from all of his stores.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which, is a byproduct of having an investment with a different competitor.
sure. Yeah, that doesn't hit as hard as I like. That would be weird if you were selling other spritzes instead of spritz.
You were not doing this to be vindictive.
Yeah.
You were doing it because you have a partner.
But it is a talking point now.
Yep, sure is.
But Kyle makes it very clear. First statement. I want to put this to bed. I want to be able to go on double dates. I want to be friends again. He says all of the right things. Craig gets amped up really fast.
Yeah.
Which again shows me he came into this with not a vendetta, but he definitely had a plan.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want it to be just, hey, you say your piece, I'll say my piece, high five, let's go.
Maybe
grab a
that's
beer.
why he took so long in the house. He was saving his energy for the conversation.
Oh, you think that's what it was?
Oh.
But Kyle's whole thing again, and he even kind of cops to it. He's like, look, I know I take shit really personally when it comes to my business. It's because my entire life is my business. And Craig's big issue is that, you're taking money out of people's pockets when you're not letting people invest. Like you're taking money out of my pocket. But Kyle goes into it and he's maintained this stance pretty much the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much that you invested, it's the way that you went about it. And Craig's like, what do you mean? Like, what way I went about it? They offered me a deal. I told you about it, and then I took the deal.
Mm-hmm.
In between there somewhere, that's when Kyle was like, yeah, but I wish that you gave me a second to give you a counteroffer. I asked you to wait just ever so briefly. And Kyle says what I thought to be true the whole time. It sounds like this deal was already done.
It was, for sure. I think that this clarified the whole thing. This was a situation where Craig already intended on investing. He gave Kyle the heads up, so to speak, but I'm sure the deal was already in transit. The money was already being wired, all of the things that you want to say about that. He was already dead set on investing.
Yeah.
He was not expecting Kyle to come back with a counteroffer. And yeah, we can get into the gray areas of did he try to invest before and Kyle wasn't taking on new investors. I'm sure that, probably won't ever come up and we will never know actually the answer to that. But he didn't expect Kyle to come back with a counter.
No.
And we said that a couple of weeks ago. He didn't expect this and it was an oh shit moment. Well, the deal's already done. And that's when he says, it's just business, man. This is just how it works.
Business.
And that is never something you really say to a friend.
No.
And they're not really friends anyway. But it's not something that you say to somebody that you want to keep things copacetic with.
No,
because you know it's going to rub him the wrong way, especially with Kyle, who is very open about the fact that his business is his baby. And this is going to affect him. You know what's going to happen. You still didn't want to do it. And I don't really blame Craig for not wanting to invest with Kyle, especially now. You broke up with Paige. You really want to be invested with Loverboy at this point? Like, no. But it's not him getting pissed off about this whole thing. He's not understanding where Kyle's coming from.
Not at all. And that's where, when we look at this thing from a broader scope, it's like, yeah, Kyle was an asshole about a lot of things during this. Yes, he went on TV and called you a liar in front of the world. All of those things are true. How have you handled things? What happened initially to get us to this point? And this conversation is very telling because it does make it sound like the deal was done. And Kyle says to him, and this would have avoided all of it.
Yep.
Just tell me the deal was done. It might be a little weird.
Yeah.
And there still may be fallout. 'Cause it's like, what the fuck? Why would you invest with another company?
Yeah, for sure.
But it wouldn't be like this. And it would have been so much easier for you to just say, sorry, dude, I invested with them. I'm calling you as a courtesy to let you know I'm investing with somebody else. And then
that's all it is.
Because then you also have the excuse to say to Kyle, it's like, oh, I didn't even know I could invest with you. Let's move on.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like the gray area comes in, where I think that they did have a conversation about it, but neither is saying it. So we won't know what the hell happened. We won't know if he had a chance to invest. But again, if Kyle comes back to you and says, hey, I want to get a counteroffer together, you just have to say in that moment, dude, don't worry about it. Like, really sorry, but like, they gave me a great offer. I've got a good percentage. I got a good chunk. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just giving you a heads up. Just be a man about it.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. And I imagine that Craig probably just avoided Kyle and didn't talk to him. And that's what caused Kyle to spiral. It makes sense. Again, Kyle's actions afterwards are irreprehensible.
Irreprehensible.
Yeah, I don't want to say the word that I almost did because I don't want to bring up PTSD from you earlier today.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but I felt it. It's
What?
in my head now.
Hiccup?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man.
in my head now. So I'm worried that it's going to happen. Anyway.
4 hours.
Yeah, Steel hiccup for 4 hours. So
There's only one tried and true way to get
so
rid
now
of
it's in my
hiccups.
head. I'm worried I'm going to catch them.
You want me to tell you how to get rid of them? That actually works?
Does it actually work? How many
Yeah,
times did
'cause
you try it?
it's a last resort.
Oh, God.
This is real. And I learned this from being an
Suck
alcoholic.
your own toe?
Throw up.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, everyone. And don't do that, unless it's dire straits, but it does. Because when I was a raging alcoholic, I would get hiccups a lot.
If it doesn't work, then you got 2 problems on your
Yeah,
hands.
now you just puke.
I hate puking.
I did not enjoy it, but at that point in my day, I was like, I can't hiccup because you were coming over in like 30 minutes. I was like, I've been hiccuping since noon. We can't record if I'm hiccuping.
You were like, this is going to sound like a joke,
Yeah.
but like we might have to record tonight. I'm like, what's going to sound like a joke? I've been hiccuping for 3 hours. Okay.
Did you think that sounded like serious?
No.
That's what I mean. That's why I prefaced with this sounds ridiculous, but
No, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I need a bit of a reset. Maybe. I feel like I need my mind to just be cleared at this point.
look, I got it.
I think we have the remedy in front of us.
Yeah, and I think I need it too because hiccups will take it out of you, and now I'm feeling awful fuzzy.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have a magic mind because these things always pick me up. Let me just hold on.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it's so good. And I know we've talked about these on the show before, but I can't give them enough praise. And like I said, Pete Holmes, who's one of my favorite comedians, he loves Magic Mind. He talks about it on his podcast a lot. And I'm like, all right. But the minute that I tried it, and once you do it for like 5 to 7 days, like I think a week, it really starts to kick in. You really start to feel the benefits from all this.
For sure.
He would say things like, this is the greatest discovery in the history of like health. I am on board because
I love the hyperbole.
But seriously, when I take it, it makes me feel so much more alert. My mental performance goes up significantly. I'll take it before the gym sometimes. I'm more alert, aware. I feel better in the morning, and I get to take it with my coffee. It doesn't replace anything because I'm also addicted to coffee. So I get the best of both worlds.
That is the best of both worlds. I'm big on routines as it is, so I love waking up in the morning. I always have my coffee en route to work, but my favorite thing is getting out of the shower, just popping a cold Magic Mind. I feel like it just puts me in the right mindset, and in a weird way, it almost happens instantly. Get my clothes on, get dressed, grab my coffee, I'm out the door. I feel like within like 10 to 15 minutes, I'm starting to settle in. All the stress that I've had, if I had a bad night of sleep, all the things that I'm worried about for the day, they all just kind of melt away, and it's really nice.
Yeah, and the best part about it is it's backed by science, it's backed by doctors, it's not some wacky juice that you buy at the store with some crazy label on it. They actually put the time and effort to create a really, really great product. There's matcha, there's ashwagandha, there's nootropics, all these things that help support a healthy and active brain. And God, I wish I found Magic Mind sooner. I wish I found it sooner
too.
because I would probably be a millionaire by now. And the best part is they have a limited offer that you can use now that gets you up to 48% off your first subscription, or you can get 20% off of a one-time purchase with the code SHOWS20 at checkout. So take advantage. I would suggest that you get a subscription because you are going to want more. We believe in this product. Go use that code SHOWS20 at checkout. Get yourself 48% off your subscription or 20% off of a one-time purchase.
Alrighty then. That's what I like to hear, and I
Yeah.
feel so much better now.
Look, I'm ready to, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. It gets me
Absolutely.
locked in, and I need to be locked in for this episode because it's so goddamn wacky. I need to be able to focus.
Focus up.
So I'm focused up right now. And let's finish up this Craig and Kyle conversation because it starts to get a little bit heated because Craig's going through his points. And he's like, look, I don't feel bad about it. Like, I don't feel bad about any of this. And I don't think Kyle wants him to feel bad necessarily.
Yeah.
But Craig's like, you called me an idiot on TV. And Kyle's like, yeah, I don't care. And he's like, well, if you're not sorry, then we're not cool. I'm like, are you guys in fucking middle school?
Yeah.
Like, can we just hear each other out, figure it out, and move the fuck on?
I think this was because I think that Kyle's goal was pretty clear going into this
I agree with
conversation. He
that.
just wanted to clear it up. He just wanted to move past it. He didn't want it to be a sticking point for the sake of the girlfriends and
Yes.
wife. And that's fine. But I think a little bit of Kyle just kind of shined through.
It came in.
He's like, I don't fucking care what I said on Watch What Happens Live. I still stick by that. Wait, let me regroup. Let me pull it back in. And Craig wanted that. And I think that's what Craig was expecting, and that's what he wanted. He wanted a knockdown, drag out fight so he can finally say, I don't care. I don't want to be friends with Kyle anymore. I don't want to deal with this. I need to have the upper hand. And Kyle reined himself back in pretty nicely, and I'm going to give him applause for this. Actual claps. Good job, Kyle, because I know how hard it is, especially when you've been drinking all day, to pull that back in. And he did. I thought he did a good job at that because Craig got that immediately. He got that reaction, and he goes, well, if you can't do this, then we can't be friends. We can't move past. It's like, nope. Let me go back to the beginning.
Let me reel it in.
For the sake of the girls, I think it's better if we can just put this behind us and move on because I didn't mean it. I'm sorry for saying it. It's like, good for you, Kyle. Way to do it.
It was, and I think you made a great point. I do believe that Craig expected Kyle that we always get.
Yep.
I don't think he expected this version of Kyle, and I think that threw him off. I think that he wanted this to go a certain way, so when he walks away from it, he's like, I tried. I can't deal with this.
Yep.
I can't fucking deal with this psycho.
Exactly what he
I'm
wanted.
done. And Kyle did a great job, and it actually ended up working because I don't know if they're tight now, but at least in this moment, dap it up, they
Imagine
hug.
not.
And I don't care.
No, I don't care. They
I
don't need
care
to be cool.
really, but it works in the moment. They're able to like hug it out. But we get Craig and Amanda, and they're talking about Jesse and Lexi. And as they're talking about it, Jesse joins the conversation. He's talking about how he's like seeing hot girls, and he's nervous about being able to change his ways. Like, what if I can't go out and hook up with whoever? Like, am I going to be able to do that? And he's like, at some point, I got to hang up my cleats, right? Like, when does this happen? It's like, I don't know, when you grow up a little, like ever so slightly, like maybe when you have different priorities. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with what Jesse does, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you have to go do. Everything you're doing when Lexi's not here is telling me that you don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, and the more that you talk about it, when you verbalize your feelings about how there's hot girls walking around, it makes me feel like you don't want to be with Lexi.
Correct.
And you're the one who's saying it, so you can't say, oh, all these people are talking about it. All these people are talking about it because you keep talking about it.
Well, because you also haven't made it evidently clear that you're all in. So there's still speculation about the house.
They're just cries for help.
That's what it feels like to me. But like,
I'm sure it feels like that to everybody that's listening too. All the people that are in that house that he's talking to, the car full of girls that he was talking about Lexi to, they all probably feel the same way. Like, this doesn't feel right. It feels like he's asking us for a way out. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting watching it.
It feels to me like he wants somebody to say to him, don't do this.
Yeah.
And not West, he wants Amanda.
West has his own
Paige.
shit going on.
Yeah, he wants one of the ladies to say to him, or Carl, somebody with some sense that's sober or, just sensible.
It would have to be the girls at this point. Carl's not going to touch that.
No.
Carl is not in a place to do that, and West isn't either.
By the way, in this house, the girls are far more intelligent and better at giving advice than the dudes in this house. The dudes in this house, more or less, are just disasters.
Yeah.
So, but that's what he wants, and it's always interesting to watch him talk to other people because it's like the truth is coming out. It's like, listen to yourself right now, not in a bad way, but the things you're saying are leading you down this path. Mm-hmm. But when you're solo in a confessional or you're with Lexi, the conversation goes this way. So which one is the real Jesse? The real Jesse is you with your people just shooting the shit. Jesse and Lexi Jesse is you trying to fit into a mold that you are not. Could you be that guy? Yeah, you could.
Sure.
You totally could. But you got to buy in if you want to. And you're not buying in.
I know that we can draw parallels to West's last season with Ciara as much as we want. That is one thing that West didn't do. Like, yes, he did use Ciara, but he wasn't out hitting on girls and doing random shit.
He was looking up in the city.
Constantly talking about it. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But
he was. Didn't he confirm that he was?
He said he stopped talking, or he had to tell a couple of girls, like, no. Anyway. Same thing that Jesse did earlier in the conversation with Lexi. But he wasn't very apparent that he didn't want it. Jesse is. So he's going down a different path right now. And, like, you are using Lexi.
You're
already there.
Oh,
No, he is.
if it goes
After
a
this
certain
episode,
way,
for sure.
After this, like, and you
At
could
the end of this
tell-
episode, he's 1,000% just using Lexi.
Yeah,
because
it's a tough look.
She's hot, and it's what he wants, but he doesn't actually want a relationship. So he's keeping her at bay, talking to her as much as possible, and then as soon as she's out, he goes right back to normal Jesse.
Yeah.
But he talks about it so much, and it's just a guilty conscience.
It's definitely a guilty conscience. There's a lot of guilty conscience from him towards the end of this. You can see it, like, you can literally see it on his face. But they bring up something that we've all noticed. You know, we've had trailers that have, like, teased it, and it's Ciara and Jesse. But Amanda says to him, like, I thought you guys were going to start dating. Like, he's like, oh, you know, we talked about it, but, you know, the timeline and everything. And, like, she said that, which I love this phrase, she's not a homie hopper.
Yeah.
Never heard that before?
You've never heard that before?
No.
Oh, it's a great phrase, dude.
Great line. I
Yeah.
love that line. But they are discussing the prospect of it. And Kyle joins the conversation. Even Kyle agrees. Like, is there chemistry? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are there sparks? Do they get along? All of the things line up? Yeah, totally. But you're with Lexi, and yet you keep... In the beginning, you could get away with, you know, I'm flirty. She's my friend, because that's what you always do. The continued conversations, the continued flirting... I know what he's doing. You know what he's doing as a dude. He's just kind of nudging the door open with his toe.
Toe in the water.
He's just slightly pushing that door ajar to see what the reaction is from her. She's been cool and laughing about the flirty stuff, so he's going to push that door open ever so slightly more. He will continue to do this to see how far he can get until Ciara shuts it down.
Yep.
He's not even thinking about Lexi in that moment.
Nope, not at all.
He's trying to test the waters.
Not even remotely. You wouldn't even have this conversation with Amanda, Craig, and Kyle if you weren't thinking about Ciara.
Correct.
If you were thinking about the girl that you're so-called exclusive with or whatever it might be. You talk about Lexi all the time, but once Ciara jumps in, you stop talking about her.
Yep.
And you're not really having those conversations. You're sitting with Paige. You're sitting with Amanda. You're having these full open conversations about how you feel about Lexi. But when it comes to Ciara, you're just flirting.
Yep.
She's very similar to Amanda and Paige.
Yep.
You could have the same conversation with her, bounce a couple ideas.
No. That
you're
shuts the door.
Yeah, it completely shuts the door. So you're leaving the door open for that. And you're doing it in so many different ways in conversations with West, conversations with Amanda, conversations with Ciara. Like, what are you doing?
You know what he's doing.
I know what he's doing, but like, why?
But what are you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, and the other part of this is, and again, are we irritated by Jesse and Lexi when they're on the screen? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. Has Lexi been 100% upfront honest about who she is and what she wants?
Yep.
100%.
Sure is.
Does she deserve anything like this? No.
Absolutely not.
And he's setting the table for it to be a lot more disastrous than it probably should have been. And if you hear something in the background, Scotty, that's an appearance from Scotty.
Screech.
Yeah, it's her before her dinner bottle. She's excited. She's amped up in there.
I
She
get
woke
it.
up from a nap.
I get it.
She's all gassed up, dude. But we get to Carl and Lil. It's so hard not to say Lily, but Carl and Lil. And, you know, they're talking. They're clearly opening up about some things. I don't know how we got to this point.
Nope.
But he's like, yeah, I'm still paying for the bed that Lindsay... What did he say verbatim?
He said, yeah, she was impregnated on the bed that I paid for.
That's it.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
sure how we got there.
Not sure how we got there. Not sure why you're telling Lil that.
Nope.
You know, I saw a meme or a tweet that said, Carl needs to take flirting lessons from season 1 Carl.
Yeah. Like, vastly. This whole conversation was so bizarre. Having this in-depth conversation, and maybe he likes that about her. Maybe he's unpacking some trauma,
Sure.
and he likes that he can bounce it off of her.
Maybe he watched The Bachelor and
doesn't
he's like,
feel-
oh, trauma dump.
Trauma dump, yeah, and we'll see how she responds. And she's responding in a good way, so I'm just going to keep going
Yeah,
until it's
trauma.
all off my chest. And then we're going to get into a relationship. That's not really how that works. I'll tell you what else doesn't really work. Talking to her parents.
Yeah, what?
That,
He said,
I know.
arr.
dude, the earth-shattering arg from the dead. No.
What happened?
Sir,
That
no.
was the dad? I thought that was
the
Carl.
dad.
Oh,
no, it was the dad.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Ew.
Subtitles, baby.
That's
That
a
was the dad.
big, that's big, picking up my
And
daughter.
I
in
know
high
that,
school
like,
energy.
I guess.
Why are her parents picking her? I don't have a
That's
problem with
another
it,
problem.
but,
That's another very big problem. How old is this woman?
Where does she live?
I don't know, dude.
Did she live at home still?
I don't know if it was like, hey, I got to go out to, like, maybe she lives at
Wait.
home. Does she live
He
at home?
met the parents
He
originally.
met the parents. That's what I was going to say. The start of this friendship, relationship, whatever, happened last summer while Carl was still with Lindsay.
Yeah, that comes up
They
later.
met at the soccer game. The parents and Carl met at a soccer game. The parents said, "Oh, my daughter lives in New York. You guys like probably do a lot of the same stuff. You guys should meet and hang out." And then they didn't hang out until September-ish, so it was a couple of weeks after the two of them broke it off. But he had met the parents first. Again, weird that he has this kind of dynamic with their parents that quickly. And also, what are your fucking parents doing picking you up at a summer house party?
That's weird. Unless they all live in the Hamptons, she was drunk or something, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Everybody was drunk at this fucking party, which I'm not complaining about.
Carl
I love
wasn't.
this. Carl wasn't.
I don't know if Lil drinks.
We don't know either. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hold
Why
on.
are her parents picking her up?
Just hold on for 1 second.
Wrapping your head around it?
I'm trying to theorize.
Okay.
Here's my theory. We need to check and see how many Bravo pages these people follow.
Mhm.
Okay, especially the parents.
Yep.
Are they big fans?
Mm-hmm.
Are they Summer House fans? Because this, to me, sounds like they like the show. They saw Carl at the game. They have a
Okay.
daughter that also likes the show.
Uh-huh.
And they wheeled and dealed to get to this point. This is zero shade on Lil, by the way. I don't know Lil. She seems like a nice person. This is at her parents. It's only for her parents. This is weird. There's a lot of moments here.
It's very weird,
Like,
dude.
did that really, like, I know that's a crazy thing to say, but did they see Carl, see an opportunity? Oh my God, I love this fucking show. We have a daughter your age. You should hang out. Oh my God, Lil's on Summer House. We did it.
I'll give some shade to Lil.
Okay.
Same situation across the board as you just planted.
Okay.
We have a daughter your age who still lives at home. Can you please get her the fuck out?
Oh, it's a failure to launch situation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a McConaughey. Wow.
Get her out.
What's that, McConaughey and Kate Hudson?
Yeah, they're most.
Is Kate
You're
Hudson?
right about most. No,
That's
Yeah.
that's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
yeah, but I think
It's
both.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker's failure
Yeah.
to launch. Yeah,
It's SJP.
yeah,
That's right.
yep. Get her out. We'll drive her to the party. Get her out of here.
There's so many. I have so many questions.
At first I was thinking, all right, she wanted to go to this party. She didn't have a way to get to the party. She convinced her parents to drive out there and have a nice day at the Hamptons, and she'll just go party with them. And then come
You're
pick
gonna
me up.
drive from New York to the fucking Hamptons for a
know,
day
dude.
trip in like a 5-hour haul?
I don't know. These parents seem weird. Sure.
I got questions.
That arg.
That's
Yeah.
all of it.
Uh-huh.
I don't get it. We're gonna have to do some
we're
more
gonna have to
digging.
see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm very, very.
Let's see what Lindsay has to say about it, because we know based on the midseason trailer, she's got
She's some things to say about it.
So we're gonna have to listen closely to that one.
Well, speaking of Lindsay, we get to check in with her. She's at Casa de Rad House. Haven't been back there in a minute. And she's FaceTiming with her aunt.
Is it just Hub House now?
Yeah, I would
Would a Hub
imagine.
House down in Nashville still exist?
Oh, I don't know.
Wonder.
I thought that was
We
like
got boots on the ground in Nashville.
thought
I'll
that-
send someone over.
Oh, yeah, we do. I thought that was a pop-up.
I think it's an Airbnb that you can rent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got to check into that.
If we have a show in Nashville, we should stay there.
We need to have a show in
Yeah,
Nashville.
we should stay there.
At the
the
Hub
Hub
House? All right, I'm down.
Absolutely.
Well, where is it? I'm more location than Airbnb.
Oh,
I don't
I know.
care so much about the Airbnb.
For like bachelorette parties, so I'm assuming it's close to the
So?
strip.
Based on what?
I've never been to Nashville. I don't know.
Nashville's not very
What
big.
do you want from me? It's a small place.
Yeah, I would
I
love
don't
to
like
go to
country
Nashville.
music.
We need
Of course I've
to
never been.
we need to get some shows lined up anyway. So maybe we'll throw Nashville on that list. But she does say that she still has a hard time looking Carl in the eye, which makes a whole lot of sense. But I thought it was a weird time for her to take a shot at Carl
Very weird time.
because she goes to a confessional, and obviously we're doing the pirate party. I don't know if she wanted to take a dig at Carl or if she feels some type of way about her idea getting stolen, or both, because she's like, "Pff, he's the most uncreative guy I've ever met in my entire life. Like, he can't even think of anything. Like, that was my idea. It's like,
Yeah. Out go the theories of Lindsay's fine. She's past it. She doesn't care about Carl.
you clearly
You're
do.
still gonna take shots at him like this. Who
About a
cares?
pirate party?
You're not at.
You're pregnant with another guy's kid.
If she was there and he was doing the pirate party,
Sure.
you can say something to a couple of people about it. This is actually my idea.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Fine, whatever. But like doing it now doesn't make any
It
sense.
was so strange.
Yeah.
It's like, and We haven't seen. We did see Carl try to take a dig, and he felt bad immediately, and like reeled it in. What did he say? It's like about when he opened the soft bar.
Oh yeah,
He's like, I should say thank Lindsay
yeah,
because she made me go back to the drawing board.
yeah.
Like that.
This was not one of those situations.
This
This was just a straight dig.
It was just weird. It was a weird thing, but